Welcome to episode 31 of The Average Critics, joined today by Ollie and Obi. We weren't here last week because we were in Amsterdam, which was a jolly good time.
A jolly good time, that's how you're going to describe it.
Well,
can I
white
say?
J's, white horse, white horse.
Hey bitch.
It's hi bitch. Fucking hell,
off.
did you not learn anything?
No.
Can I just say?
You were the one who passed out. Oh my god.
Can I pass out?
Go on, Obi, I know what he's going to say.
What are we
You're
gonna
going to
say?
talk about him sleeping.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that, but now I will, yeah.
We're going to be sleeping.
No. So, in this hostel, yeah, that Glenn booked the hostel.
Oh,
then-
right, I know what you're going to say.
It was, I'm not going to lie, it was pretty ropey. I won't lie.
ropey.
It's budget.
And I went to bed one night and I woke up and Glenn is fully clothed and asleep in his bed. Like, t-shirt, hoodie, chinos.
Hoodie was up as well.
Hoodie up, but no socks. That's all I had to understand. And I asked you why you got your clothes on. You said because you don't want any of your skin to touch the bed. But you booked the hostel, so I don't understand why.
Right,
be
because it
fair-
was a great location.
To be
also-
fair, Chris
and also-
was like after the first day, he was like, I'm going to be
Chris
bitten.
was covered in, like,
Chris was
bed bug
Chris was the
bites.
only one getting bitten.
And also, you now make me think that you might be a serial killer because that is a very serial killer trait.
Sleeping in
Imagine you
clothes.
woke up next to someone in there.
Sleeping in clothes is serial killer trait.
fully clothed. Fully clothed. If you like had like a t-shirt and like I don't know if you were wearing boxers or whatever, or if you just had like even shorts or something, but the fact you wore your chino, I can't trust anyone that wears chino/jeans to bed. I'm sorry.
There was a jumper as well.
I did it for health and
Yeah,
safety
nah,
reasons, man.
It's fucking weird. I don't trust you.
Well,
I'm questioning our friendship right
And you
now.
weren't cold either, so that can't be it.
it was quite cold.
Nah, bullshit, mate. You were drunk. You were too far gone.
And Ollie had like 2 bottles of rosé and started to start blurting stuff out to me, which I won't.
Yeah.
Which I won't mention on the podcast.
And you
Thanks, mate.
and you had wine mixed with mayonnaise and
What a
chips.
dick.
Oh yeah! Oh god,
You
that was
dirty
disgusting.
bastard.
Oh, yeah, that's horrific.
And also, if anyone, obviously Chris isn't here, but if anyone ever gets high, yeah, and you just meet Chris, just look at him for like 10 minutes, and I promise you will be laughing for a good half an hour. It's hilarious. But yeah,
His
good.
life is.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it's good. Enjoy it.
Yeah, mate, really good love.
What have you
Didn't
been?
get shrooms though, did we? So upsetting.
Why didn't you?
We weren't even looking, to be fair.
I was
We
like,
were
why,
like, let's do it.
why didn't you get shrooms?
Don't know. Just didn't really look. Really wanted to though.
Amateurs.
Shame.
This is all talk, aren't you? All gas.
All talk, innit? Full of shit.
Well, what have we been watching in the week since we've been back? Have we seen any trailers or anything?
Justice League trailer.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be shit.
It looks so cool.
Justice
doesn't,
League
man.
looks
It really
so bad.
Thank you.
I need Chris. Yeah, but you don't like any superhero films, so you're disqualified.
No, that's not true. I like Dark Knight and I like Spider-Man.
Great. 2 out of like 30.
Yeah? Yeah. Good ones though.
No.
No, you can saturate a market. That's, you know.
No, mate. I wish Chris was here. What didn't you like about it? I thought it was sick.
Like about what? Justice
The
League?
trailer, yeah.
So Cyborg's just a crap Iron Man.
Why is he a crap? You got. Oh yeah,
It
he's a
is,
crap
yeah.
Iron Man,
It's,
but why?
it is a proper like
But no, he's
shit version
He's
of
completely
Avengers.
different from Iron Man. He's
exactly the same.
He's literally completely different from Iron Man.
Half
Is he
man, half
male
machine.
and does he have metal on him? Iron
But
Man.
no, his body is literally made. His body is the suit.
I think Aquaman looks a little bit like, I don't know.
You can't tell me Aquaman doesn't look cool.
Gimpy.
Gimpy how? I can't believe this. Gimpy how?
He's just like flying through the air with like a trident.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Nah.
lame. Why can he fly?
He can't fly. He's been launched through the air. Cyborg
If you're gonna say through water,
Cyborg
dolphins.
launched him through the air.
Uh.
You can't tell me that was cool when he was fighting whoever.
It just looks like
And then
fighting,
shut up. And then Cyborg shut up.
No, you
And
know
then
what's bad
Cyborg
about these?
and then
you know
Cyborg
what's-
hold on. Let me this bit was cool. This was the best bit of the trailer. And then Cyborg picked him up and he was like, the ride ain't over yet. And he was like, my man. And then he threw him back through the, that was sick. You guys are
That was the best bit of the trailer.
yeah.
Wow.
And the bit at the end where you know just
No, you know
thing is,
the,
I'm not
the issue with superhero movies coming out now is that there are too many in one film. Like Infinity War, however many they're going to put in, hopefully they all die because then that'll be it. The Marvel will be over. Please, fucking God, yes. But like, there are too many. I just want a villain, a goodie, and a little bit of in between.
No, fuck that.
And a good story. That's all it is.
That's
It's
too
not-
bad. That's
it's not
basic.
Batman and Wonder Woman versus the world,
Batman.
which is literally what it is. I can't be bothered with that.
No, you guys.
No, mate.
Alright, don't watch it then.
I won't.
You know what I mean?
And you know, the thing that's even worse is that.
And you don't watch it
the thing
either.
that's- the
Nah,
thing that's
fuck it.
even
The pair
worse
of you don't watch
is
it.
that
because-
they're individual
No.
movies. Batman versus Batman, like Ben Affleck as Batman, his films have been shit. Wonder Woman I thought was alright, but still not great.
The pair-
Cyborg
don't
hasn't
watch
got
it.
his own movie.
Then don't watch it.
I'm not going to, mate.
You definitely will. You're definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah,
but don't watch it.
I've said all
Because
along
you've been
I'm gonna
saying
watch
for
it.
the past like year, literally since we started this podcast back in February or whenever it was, that you've not been looking forward to Justice League. It's gonna be shit. Blah 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 blah. So don't watch it.
No, because I want to watch it.
Let those of us who want to enjoy it, and then you can just.
No,
I'm not.
this
But
is
you,
it.
you,
Average
and your,
critics,
you, and
mate.
your, you and your negativity,
Critiquing.
you and your negativity, and you can just sit out.
No, because I'm offering the point of balance, and also I'm willing to be.
No, it's not
proved
balanced.
wrong.
It's not balanced if you just hate on everything. That's not balanced at
No,
all.
we like.
I guarantee.
Me and Glenn like good movies.
I don't give a shit. I guarantee. No, because Glenn watched like Suicide Squad like 3 times. No.
Oh yeah, Glenn, you're out of that.
I guarantee if you have the exact same trailer but just fills it with Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and all them lot, you like it. I guarantee it.
Probably.
I guarantee it.
I'm
It's
willing-
biased because you think it's gonna be shit, so you said, oh shit.
Yeah,
shit,
but I'm
shit.
willing to be. That's why I want to watch it because I'm willing to be proved
No,
wrong.
No, man.
But Chris sent us a message in the chat and said that it's only going to be 121 minutes long.
That's good.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll be cut out all the bullshit and it'll just be.
always the-
what? Just a big fight.
They'll
Great.
probably release like an Ultimate Edition like they did with Batman v Superman. But that was like 3 hours long. The Ultimate
Yeah.
Edition of Batman.
I'm sorry, but if you're gonna sit in a movie for 2 hours to watch fighting, you might as well go back and watch Transformers, because that was 2.5 hours of just fighting of the same fight as well, wasn't it? And you fucking hated that movie.
Yeah, that's Transformers. This isn't Transformers.
This is just as bad.
It's not though.
So the new
How can you say it's just as bad? You haven't watched it.
It's
the new
just as
trailer starts off with Superman, which
Yeah.
we're assuming is some sort of like dream or.
Yeah, was that not? Did you not enjoy that? Was that not cool? The way,
I haven't seen
the
the
way he
trailer.
was like,
Should I watch
okay,
it?
the way so like Lois Lane is like looking out into the farm. I think at Clark Kent's house, maybe it's their house, I don't know. And Superman's there, just standing in the field, and she like walks up to him, and he's like, "I'll take that as a yes." And she's like, "What?" And he was like, "The ring." And then it points to the ring on her hand, and then the scene flips into her at Superman's funeral, dropping the soil on his coffin. That was cool, man. And she's all upset, and everyone's like, "The world is mourning."
But is he
Superman.
dead? Isn't he coming back?
Well, he's almost definitely coming back, but
Was he in the trailer? As in, like, after that?
no,
Oh.
no.
I thought that would have been
Have
an
you
absolute
heard-
spoiler. Like the Golden Circle, innit? When they had
Yeah.
what's his name?
Colin Firth.
Firth. I was like, oh come on, that was supposed to be a huge plot twist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has Superman's symbol been used in any of the marketing? I don't think it has it?
I'm not sure.
Because you know the poster, it's like, I can't remember what their tagline is. It's like
Not sure.
all in or something.
Yeah.
But they use some of the symbols.
And the music was good as well. We can be heroes.
Yeah, that was alright.
That was decent.
Guitar.
I just think what has clouded my judgment of the DC films is that Man of Steel was just so bad.
Yeah.
Batman vs Superman started off well. Like I liked the conflict between Batman and Superman, and then it just went to pot. Again, Wonder Woman started strongly, but I didn't like the CGI battle at the end. So they've just all been disappointing. And I know that I'm not the hugest fan of Captain America 1. I wasn't the hugest fan of Thor either. I really like the 2 Iron Men were alright. Well, Iron Man 2's shit, but it's just, I don't know, I feel like they're kind of, all their kind of iconography is quite dark. It's all like really dark and gloomy.
Yeah.
But then they try and inject some like comedy into it, and I'm kind of thinking like, at least with Avengers, it's quite light-hearted.
Yeah.
I just think DC, you either need to stick to being dark and gloomy, or change your color palette a little bit, because
In the words of many people on Twitter, get you a man who can do both. Just saying.
Fair enough.
Do both.
Well, we will review that in
What about-
3 weeks' time. Or
Yeah.
something?
Would you not say that exactly what you said about Suicide Squad?
Oh yeah. Well, I think the comedy in that was.
And yet
a
you
bit
love
like-
that.
I don't love Suicide Squad. There are things about
But
it
you
which
watched it
I
3 times.
appreciate it. Yeah, but I watched it.
I think you're a serial killer. I think a serial killer would watch Suicide Squad 3 times.
No, I saw it in the cinema.
He went there with a note and a pad of paper.
I saw it in the cinema in 2D, and then I saw it in 3D.
Why?
Just as different people wanted to see it, so
You
And
want to
then-
see
and
Margot
then-
Robbie in 3D.
And then I bought the
Terrible.
extended edition, on Blu-ray, and I wanted to see what the additional scenes, whether the film was better with them in.
And it was not.
I thought it was better.
Anyway, moving from Suicide Squad. Let's get rid of it.
Black Panther.
Let's put that in
Seen
the...
Black
Yeah,
Panther
I
trailer?
haven't,
Oh.
but I've heard really good things about
I think
it.
it looks really cool. It's kind of just like showing T'Challa. Is his name T'Challa?
T'Challa.
With his like family. I think it's his sister as well. I think it shows they've got like a good bond, and they're like joking around. She's telling him like not to choke and stuff like that. And he's like, I never choke. I don't know what accent it is, but yeah. And then it kind of just like showing Wakanda as well, and how like basically like advanced it is, all the flying cars, all that stuff. Shows quite a lot of Michael B. Jordan, who's going to be the villain in the film.
Oh, okay.
And I think he's got his own like suit. So I think he is the Golden Panther. I think is the term. So yeah, he's like saying he looks like he's gonna have quite a good like chunk of like dialogue. In the film. So I think it looks cool, like introducing him into it, and it shows a few scenes of them fighting with their both their bodysuits on. And yeah, I just think it looks. I like the first trailer. I think that trailer looks cool as well. And
I got well confused by it, didn't I? So I was telling you, I was like, is it a different planet or a different?
Yeah.
Is it in the future? Because they're like in flying cars and shit.
Because you can't comprehend that an African country in present day can be that advanced. Is that what you're saying?
What, with flying cars?
That's just so.
I think I think did I say this to you?
Thanks for that, Glenn. Just like blasting me out.
Just a
Fucking
massive
absolute
racist.
cunt.
Just a massive racist. But I think the idea of Wakanda is that in the comics they built Wakanda to be what they imagined African countries would be like had they not been like ravaged by like slavery and all that crap. So yeah, so by proxy, it's like the most technically advanced, technologically advanced country in the world. But yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to that. I think that comes in February. I think, but yeah, should be good.
When this podcast dies.
No, allow it.
Well,
I was saying this the other day, like touch wood, yeah, but he's gonna be Ollie's gonna be gone, which I don't mind.
Rude.
Like there's a strong chance that you'll be gone later in the year. We should probably cut this out. But there's a strong chance that you'll be gone later in the year. And then Joe's never here, so it's gonna be me and Chris just arguing over fucking Arrow for like an hour and a half.
No, it's not.
Arrow and
Because
Flash.
you're gonna he's gonna say, yeah, no, I totally disagree, and then he'll turn around like, oh no, actually you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, literally that would should be it.
No, Ollie's gonna be gone temporarily,
Yeah, but he might not come back.
I ain't coming back, mate.
and I'll, it'll be at
You'll
least
be gone by the
12
time-
months from now.
By the time I come back, you'll be gone.
When the hell are you coming back?
I don't know.
Where the hell do you think I'm
At
going?
least after May, your new house, isn't it?
You might as well be going to the other end of the world. Glenn.
Wow.
Wow.
Anyway,
You can barely make time for a cheeky game of tennis.
hey, beat him yesterday.
him
That's why you're just scared every time I suggest it. You're like,
Yeah, Ollie probably wants to move away so he doesn't have to play you again.
exactly.
I think it's because we were both not hungover, which is strange.
Yeah.
Because the last time.
Strange
I
for
think
you,
I-
anyway.
Oh, speaking of, I'm gonna go get a drink.
Come on then, get your hooch out.
All right, I'll go get one.
Other lemonade-based alcoholic beverages
Oh,
are
available.
probably available. Anyway, so you mentioned Arrow.
Yeah.
So, am I right in thinking all the CW shows have started back up?
Apart from Black Lightning. Apart from that started mid-season.
Okay.
All the rest of them, all the ones from last season have started back up again.
Is it one episode in for each of them?
2.
Okay.
But I haven't. I've watched both episodes of Flash. I've watched both episodes of Arrow. Halfway through the second episode of Supergirl, and I haven't watched the second episode of Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay. Well, give us an update then. Where were we at the end of the series? And
So, at the end of Arrow, the main baddie from last season killed himself, and by doing that, he blew up the island that everyone was on.
Oh, okay.
And so, he had captured Arrow's son, but Arrow managed to get him back before the guy killed himself. And so we ended that season wondering who had, because the island completely exploded. So we ended that season wondering who had died, basically. So then we come to the start of this season, and they kind of do it in a funny way where we kind of see one after one who's lived.
Yeah.
And basically everyone lived.
Oh, okay.
Apart from Arrow's baby mum, basically. She died. And Arrow's sister's in a coma, and she's been in a coma for 6 months. It jumped forward 6 months. She's been in a coma for 6 months. So now Arrow's looking after his son, but his son kind of hates him because he kind of blames him for his mum's death.
Okay.
So and
Does the son know he's Arrow?
yeah, but he's a really bad actor. And it's quite off-putting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a terrible actor. She's a real shame. But so yeah, it's like you got Arrow trying to deal with that, and his son like being like bullied and stuff, and he's trying to like be a good father as well as be mayor, as well as be Arrow, and yeah, he's doing all that nonsense. And at the end of the first episode, basically he like turns on the news, and it basically has like a picture of him in the Green Arrow suit with his face like clearly out, and it says like Mayor Queen revealed as the Green Arrow, and they're like, oh shit, what do we do? He's like, I don't know. So then come to the second episode, so that's where they drop they do the name drop, and it's Oliver Queen as the mayor, who's Arrow, and he's doing a press conference, and like the first thing he says is like that photo was obviously photoshopped or whatever. Like you could put anyone's face on it, you could even put Bruce Wayne's face on it, but Bruce Wayne's all the way over in Gotham, blah blah blah, something like that. But yeah, he name dropped Bruce Wayne.
So do you think that they might incorporate Bruce Wayne or the Batman sort of universe within it? Because Gotham, the TV show Gotham isn't.
It's not CW, no.
No. Okay.
I don't think they will. I think if they are going to do it, well, they might put it in one of the CW shows, but I don't think they'll put it in Arrow. Obviously, I do think they name dropped him, but I reckon in this universe, he's just Bruce Wayne, like just Bruce Wayne billionaire, and that's it.
Okay.
I think maybe because in Supergirl's universe, so like they're on, obviously the shows are the same, but Supergirl's on a different Earth.
Okay. Fuck me, that's confusing.
Yeah, Supergirl's on a different Earth. And on that show, they've name dropped. They not name dropped, but they give like two massive hints that Batman exists in that show. So if he is going to appear, it will probably be on that show.
He's on two different worlds.
Well, yeah, it's like parallel universes.
Jokes.
It's like parallel Earths, isn't it? So like they're people who are on one Earth or on the other Earth, but there might be slight changes to them. Blah blah blah.
Anyway, I thought like a parallel universe is exactly the opposite.
No, it's like
that'd be an opposite universe. Parallel just means it runs the same.
Yeah.
So is there a Green Arrow and a Flash in Supergirl's world?
No. But I think there's an Oliver Queen and there's a Barry Allen, but they're not. But they're not.
Okay.
So obviously it's different circumstances leads to different action, leads to different consequences, so they don't become whoever it is they are.
Would you want to see Bruce Wayne or any of those like Selena Kyle in this show, or
really? I don't think there's any need because it would kind of just steal the spotlight from. Because, like even in Supergirl, they had Superman appear in like 3 episodes of Supergirl last season, and it kind of takes the spotlight away from the lead characters. So imagine in Supergirl, she like rings up Superman, and he's okay, I'll just grab Batman, and you've got Supergirl, Superman, and Batman, and you're gonna be like, piss off Supergirl. Yeah, so I could just be like, watch Batman and Superman. So I don't really think there's any need, to be honest. They should probably just leave it how it is. I mean, they could do a couple name drops, or like ring him up or something like that, but you don't actually have to show him.
Get him on the blower. Yeah, I've got this issue.
So in
I can't get the one. What's the Wi-Fi password?
In Flash, in season 2. Yeah, season 2 of Flash. They went to Earth 2, which is another parallel universe, and in that universe, Barry Allen's not the Flash, but he has a phone. He had a phone, and he's got like a. What's it called when you press a button and it rings someone straight away?
Speed dial.
Speed dial, thank you, sorry. He had speed dial and it had like 4 names of speed dial on it. One was Diana, one was Bruce, one was Hal, and one was what's Superman's name? Clark. So yeah, but he didn't say no one they didn't mention it or anything. He just he picked up the phone and then it panned to the camera to the phone, and then it just showed all the names. And then that was it. So if they want to do something like that would be cool.
Okay, that's all right.
But yeah.
Wait. So this guy, he went to the other world.
Yeah.
See, if you go to the other world, is that not messing with the universe?
I mean,
because that's like Back to the Future, isn't it?
Technically,
seeing yourself in a different.
Chris and Obi have tried to explain.
We have,
the multiverse.
Oh god, is that what you're going on about? Like the Flash timeline.
Yeah.
Barry isn't the baddie, but then he is.
So yeah, that's pretty much that. So like basically now they're just dealing with in Arrow. They're basically like dealing with the consequences of what happened on the island. So like one of Arrow's main sidekicks, Diggle, he got a bit of from the explosion. He got some shrapnel in his arm, and basically he can't shoot his gun. But properly anyway, because basically he's like a sick like marksman, but now he's shooting and he keeps missing, so he's like putting the rest of the team in danger. So like for instance, one of his teammates got put in, like she was like being strangled, and he got his gun out to like try and shoot the guy, but obviously because the person was strangling, like he didn't want to like accidentally shoot, which was really funny if he accidentally shot Biggie in the head and killed himself. But yeah, so like she's the only one who knows about his injury, so she's like putting pressure on him to kind of like tell the rest of the team about it, basically, because you know they should all know. But he's like no, and basically the end of episode 2, because the Green Arrow was like, I've got a son now, I have to protect him, blah blah blah. He asked his sidekick John Diggle to be the Green Arrow, and he's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it, even though like you can't even shoot a bow and arrow with your crooked arm. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the 3rd episode. I don't think that'll last very long. But yeah, that's that. Supergirl was quite funny because at the end of I'm just going to try and go through Supergirl really quickly. At the end of last season, she had to send her boyfriend away because of he was like lead poisonous to them, and she had to infest the whole world with lead or something like that to get rid of the baddie. But anyway, so she was really depressed. Yeah, yeah, it was silly.
Just go with it.
Yep.
So she's really depressed, and she's been a proper bitch at the start of the season, which I quite liked. Like people were talking to her, she's like being really short and like just being a complete dickhead. She quit her job temporarily, but yeah. So it's just her. They were trying to basically like stop her from being a prick, and in the end she stopped being a prick. So
Okay.
Yeah, that was that. Legends of Tomorrow, they fucked up time completely. Everything was this is what I talked about end of last season. So the last episode of last season, they had fucked up time completely. Like they went to Los Angeles in 2017. There was Big Ben, there was dinosaurs, there was ducks, there was all sorts.
Ducks.
All sorts just roaming around LA, and they were like, "Oh fuck, we fucked up time." So I was like, "Okay, how are they going to deal with this in the next season?" But literally, all they did was like 2 minutes in, basically someone came, the Time Bureau. Came and saved the day and just kind of like resurrected everything and made it.
Aww.
Yeah, and they kind of did like the Men in Black Flash thing to make people forget it.
Well, like a Deus Ex Machina thing.
Yeah,
That's so fucking
and then it was
lame,
over after 2 minutes. I was like, oh, that's boring.
Oh.
So, and then they just like did their thing there to get. So they forgot to the Time Bureau forgot to send one of the people back to their time. That person was Julius Caesar. So the Legends of Tomorrow had to go and get Julius Caesar, return him back to Rome, but then one of them let Caesar steal their history book. So then Caesar looks and sees obviously like his demise. So then he changes his plans basically to try and make sure that he succeeds, and then that ends up changing the rest of the future. Then they have to go back to Rome and fix it all and blah blah blah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a bit silly. Anyway, and then Flash. So Flash was in the end of last season. Flash was stuck in the Speed Force for eternity, inverted commas. And then again, I was hoping they would kind of like string it out for maybe at least 3 or 4 episodes where he's like stuck in the Speed Force. You don't even have to be like not show him, like, because obviously he's the main character, so he kind of has to be in it. But they could just do like little scenes of him, like just stuck in like this nightmare or something like that, or you know, going crazy. But basically, he comes back they get him back from the Speed Force, and he's gone mental, and he's like speaking gibberish and writing stuff on the walls because they think basically he's been in the same position for like in their time it's only been like 6 months, but in his time it's probably been around like 10,000 years.
And how do they get him out of the Speed Force?
They create this machine.
They create this machine, and they're like, "Oh, I've just made this machine, and I'm gonna get Barry out." I was like, "Why didn't you do this like one day after he left?" Like, he seems like the person who made it, Cisco. He's been sitting on it for like months and just been waiting for a good time to use this machine. And I was like, "Why didn't you just?" So it sounds like all of them have been quite anticlimactic.
Yeah. In a way, yeah.
Oh god. So does it like make you optimistic or pessimistic about the rest of the series?
I'm not pessimistic. Because the episodes haven't been decent to good.
Okay.
But it's kind of annoying how like they kind of set something up at the end of last season and they just kind of like cut it short. So like even the start of season 3 of Flash, before that they'd set up Flashpoint. So you know, I think I said like in Flashpoint where like Bruce Wayne dies and Tom Wayne is Batman, and all sorts of stuff like that has happened. But then they literally rectified it in one episode. And like it wasn't Flashpoint anymore. I was like, oh, this is a bit shit. But yeah, it annoys me how they kind of like think, oh yeah, we're going to do this, and then they just kind of like cut it really short. Like you could really get something going that would be really interesting for like a good 3 or 4 episodes, but then they just
Walking Dead do that. Well, they have done it in the past, haven't they? When
Done
they got
what,
to
sorry?
Terminus, they spent an entire series walking
Oh
to
yeah, and
a
then it
place
was
called
over in an
Terminus,
episode.
and then so it ends with them reaching this place. The first episode of the next series they leave. I was like, oh, you've wasted 20 hours of my fucking life.
Oh,
But yeah, has it started up again?
starting tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we'll
Big day.
we'll catch
Big
up
day.
on that then. You know, as
Next
and
week.
when. Have you been keeping up with what's that one that was released in IMAX?
Inhumans?
Yeah, Inhumans.
no,
Okay.
I haven't, but I plan to. Cause I think it's on episode 5 now, and I think there's only going to be 8 episodes, so I might just wait for all
binge it.
the rest of them to come out, and just watch them all in one
Did you
go.
finish Legion?
No, I don't have any. I literally don't have any urge to finish watching Legion.
Okay.
I think maybe when season 2 comes out, whenever that'll be, I will just maybe like recap and finish the rest of it. You didn't watch it, did you?
I watched the first episode.
You didn't
and
like
I
it.
was like,
Yeah. I think Chris and Joe watched it. I think.
I actually can't keep up now. I know we've
There's
spoken
so
about
many.
it in
Oh,
terms
there's
of
even-
saturation, but there's
Yeah.
like so I've
So
literally
many.
just finished the Defenders, which I'll talk about in a sec. But then not like it's like oh yeah, other Marvel things include Cloak and Dagger
Yeah.
and
The Gifted.
The Gifted,
Runaways.
Runaway, and then there's even other DC ones as
Yeah.
well. And I'm like, I don't know what is
There's
part of who.
the new Teen Titans coming out soon.
Are they part of the same
Young
thing?
Justice coming out soon.
I'm just
There's
like-
so many. It's so hard to keep up. There's so many.
Yeah. I literally can't keep up.
Mm.
And it's like, oh yeah, this one's set within the X-Men universe as well. And then there's 3 X-Men
Although
films.
the Gifted is alright actually.
There's 3 X-Men films coming out in the next
Yeah,
like,
new,
year.
New Mutants as
Really?
well.
Yeah, New Mutants.
I think
That's the horror one.
Yeah, I
isn't
think
it?
that looks okay. To be
It looks
honest.
good.
I think it's
And
alright.
then you've got Dark Phoenix and then Deadpool 2.
Oh yeah.
And then I think there might even be another one. I don't
For
know.
the other ones, is that I'm assuming obviously Hugh Jackman's not going to be in any of them, but is it like
No.
James McAvoy? Is it following that
So
kind of era,
Dark
like First
Phoenix
Class?
is. So that's going to have Sansa and Michael Fassbender and Jennifer Lawrence.
Right, cool.
Although they did kind of do that storyline in X-Men 3, didn't they? With Jean Grey turning into... And also she
Yeah.
does turn into Phoenix at the end of Apocalypse, doesn't she?
Yeah. I think she's
My mind is...
she's able to control it.
okay. And then you obviously got Punisher coming out, which I'm actually really looking
Oh
for.
yeah, 17th of November I think it is.
Yeah, same
10
day
days
as
off.
Justice League. But yeah...
That's gonna be a TV/film filled day. Might take it off work.
May, yeah. I mean,
Crucial annual leave.
Punisher
days.
looks really good. If they
Yeah, I think it looks
if
sick.
they have it as gritty as he was in Daredevil Series 2,
I think it will.
it's gonna be sick.
Do you haven't watched Daredevil, have you?
Daredevil. I have only seen the original.
Okay.
Ben Affleck.
I think you like Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're not,
It's played by one of the Rick's mate from Walking Dead.
yeah, John Bernthal.
Yeah.
Because the Marvel TV shows, well, the Netflix ones anyway, they're not really like superhero TV shows. They're more like
Gritty.
What is the Punisher? He's not a superhero though.
He's kind of like
just
an
like he's like
anti-hero,
a bounty hunter sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just like a hardcore.
so he starts off
mercenary.
kind of
as
like a vigilante.
he starts off as like the villain of Series 2 of Daredevil, and then Elektra comes in as well. Like Series 2 of Daredevil is really good, but yeah, they're just kind of basically like action. Like none of them have got. Well, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones have powers, and so does the Iron Fist, but they're not like they don't fly. They're just a bit strong. Although what I don't understand, so I've finished the Defenders now. When people like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Iron Fist punch people, obviously they're super strong. Why do the people, when they punch someone in the chest, how comes people's chests aren't just caved in? Like, they punch someone in the head and they get back up. I'm like, if you've got the fucking Iron Fist of...
He can't, to be fair, Iron Fist, he can't use that fist all the time. So
Yeah,
for
but-
him, I can understand. But for Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, definitely.
Yeah, because
they're
considering-
supposed to be super strong, yeah.
Yeah, like, if Luke
Yeah, but-
Cage
yeah,
punches
but
someone, they
they
go through
can
about
control
3
it, yeah.
walls.
Huh?
They can control.
But there's not been
Yeah,
any,
but
there's
you-
not been any exploration of that I can remember of whether they can control their strength. So like if I punched you, like probably wouldn't hurt you at all. But if like Luke Cage punched you, you'd expect at least a few
Absolutely.
broken.
No, because I think it depends on what you're punching. If you're punching a human, in contrast to, I don't know, if he punches through a brick wall, he's probably going to go through the brick wall harder, isn't he?
I'm
'Cause he
sure
knows
in,
it's a harder
Yeah.
surface.
Yeah, I'm sure in season 1 Luke Cage, didn't he punch Diamondback and Diamondback went absolutely flying?
Yeah.
So in reality, I kind of see where Glenn's come from. You should be able, like, Luke Cage should. I mean, just to be honest, I think Jessica Jones is actually stronger than Luke Cage. So in reality, they should both just be able to, like, if they punch you in the head and like literally knock your head clean off.
Exactly. And also, Madame Gao, like, every now and then just uses some sort of like force, like Star Wars force, to push people away, and other times she doesn't. And also, I thought it was ridiculous. I'm going all over the place here, but when they're like beating her up.
For Gao?
Yeah, just like little old Asian lady, and they're just beating her up. So yeah, the Defenders is obviously, for those of you who don't know, but I think we've spoken about this before, is the kind of TV version of the Avengers, the team up between Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. It's shorter than the individual series, so it's only 8 episodes.
Which I enjoyed.
And it features, so it's basically, The Hand is a kind of criminal organisation that's popped up throughout the Marvel Netflix TV shows. And this is like the amalgamation of all of that. It all comes to a head. Everyone wants to destroy the Hand because they need to get to Kunlun to get some elixir to allow them to...
That was super unclear though. What they actually wanted was
to
really
carry on
unclear.
living. So they need to capture the Iron Fist to punch through this magical door to get the elixir, which is from Dragon Bones. I was a little bit disappointed by it, to be honest. Like, individually, all the shows are fairly decent, but I just feel like the action wasn't that great. The opening, the first time they come together in the corridor in Midland Circle, whatever it's called, that was alright. Yeah. But the rest of it just kind of seemed a bit, I don't know, like when you see Jessica Jones and Luke Cage fight, they don't particularly fight that well because they're so strong. They just push. They just push people away.
I think that's more to do with the two of them, neither of them being trained in martial arts.
Yeah, but
rather than
it just doesn't feel. It's not as exciting. Like and I don't know. Their chemistry wasn't all that. I think you might have said it before, Obi. I don't actually think the guy who plays Luke Cage is a particularly good actor. He's quite flat in the way he delivers things. He's like, his expressions and the way he kind of changes his voice is not. Well, he doesn't. That's the point. So I was a little bit disappointed, and also I think I said last time about how they made Sigourney Weaver the head. You know, this like older white female. It's like, well, why did you need that? Madame Gao been the focus.
She was a shit villain as well.
Yeah. And then I was kind of a bit confused as to why Elektra was still acting like an antagonist. It was just a little bit muddled for me.
Yeah.
It
was. I thought it was okay.
It was okay, but
it wasn't fantastic.
Considering how much I slated Iron Fist without having seen it, I think Iron Fist was better than this.
Did you?
Yeah. I enjoyed it more, but mostly it was because of the Meachums. But I don't know.
Yeah. I think they're on par for me. So if you had to rank all of the shows so far, is Defenders at the bottom for you?
It's a toughie.
If you do it like by, if you like have season 1 and season 2 of Daredevil, it's like 2 different.
Season 2 of Daredevil would be number 1. Then season 1 of Daredevil.
Okay.
Then it's tough because I have to take Luke Cage as a whole.
Yeah.
The first
half of it was really
6
good.
or 7 episodes would be probably number 2.
Yeah.
The second half of it's at the bottom.
Yeah.
So I would probably then put Iron Fist 3rd.
Wow.
Jessica Jones 4th. Luke Cage 5th, and probably Defenders last.
Is that what you say?
Mine's quite different, I would say.
You don't like Jessica Jones?
Yeah, I've still haven't finished it. I think Jessica Jones is last for me, and then probably Iron Fist, then Daredevil season 1, Defenders, Luke Cage, Daredevil season 2. But then those two maybe a bit interchangeable because I liked Luke Cage quite a lot. So
yeah.
What
have you been watching, Oliver?
Alright.
Tell us about your TV exploits.
So I've got into the... Mate, Netflix are dominating, aren't they? But I've got into a couple of things that have been suggested.
I've got to watch that film.
Actually, through... What film?
That Halle Berry one that we were talking about on the train.
Kidnapping. Yeah.
Is that
Check
out?
it out.
I think it's on Netflix, yeah.
Yeah,
do you know what?
17th of October, I think.
I saw a trailer for that well over a year ago, and I thought it looked really good, and it was supposed to be coming out early 2017, and I've been like sporadically remembering it and thinking, when's it coming out? So it's actually coming out on Netflix.
Yeah, I think it's out.
It's supposed to be already out.
Me and Ollie were literally talking about it the other day, and we were like, I have not seen, like, because we read the description now. Like, I've not seen any trailers for this at all,
No.
or any. I literally hadn't heard about
The
it.
reason it came up is because we were talking about spy movies like James Bond,
Yeah.
Born Ultimate American
So
Assassin.
I wanted to know if there was any like spy movies with basically characters the lead characters who aren't white males. Basically.
Okay.
And you hit the nail on the head with both black women, innit?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll check that. Yeah, I want to watch that.
Yeah. If it's
Okay.
on, so maybe we should have that as our if it's on Netflix.
As our film to
it's
watch
our
for next week.
Yeah, for us all to watch.
All right.
Okay.
Not that any of us will watch it probably, but actually you might. But I reckon
I'll try.
you'll forget. I'll probably forget.
Put it in the chat. We'll definitely try and do
I
it.
got a long train ride to Liverpool this week, so is it already out?
It said 17th of October.
Okay, I'll
Whether
check
you
it
can
out.
find it on.
So what have you been watching on Netflix?
So on Netflix, I have watched, and I've only seen it because it was on the trailers for like other movies and other TV series. So started off with Tin Star because that was a lot of.
Is that Netflix? I thought it was Sky Atlantic.
It's Skyland.
Yeah,
Shit,
Sky,
yeah, you're right.
Sky.
Okay, sorry,
Okay.
my bad. That was
a lot.
for the trailer for like all the films we went into last month, and that turned out to be all right. You know, that was very white though.
Is it?
I was like, Obi, you might not like it.
I love white TV shows.
It was just, I don't know. Yeah, no, it was really good though. It was just following like this one family, and this guy. Oh my god, he is like a living legend. He is a cop. During the day.
Tim Roth.
Yeah.
Tim Roth guy.
During the day, he's like a cop, and he's like he's an alright family man, but he spent loads of time undercover, so he created this like other personality who's pretty much an alcoholic, and he's also a criminal. So he's like, you know, cop and a dad during the day. At night time, he takes on this different persona called Jack, and he's like drinking bottles of whiskey, prozzies, and he's like out causing fights with biker gangs.
Is that what you want to be like?
And I'm like, this guy is such a joker.
He's your hero.
He's fucking
Is
hilarious.
that your idol?
Yeah, because he's like, he actually solves like loads of the crimes whilst he's out his face. And the next morning, it's like Memento. The next morning, he's like, what happened? And he's got to like figure it all back out. It's so bizarre.
So what's the overarching plot of Tin Star?
The overarching plot is, so as I was saying, there's he's I wouldn't say he's escaped, but he was undercover, and he's left the UK to gone to Canada. So they've got to a small little rural town where all of a sudden a huge oil refinery company comes in and they want to start up business. But a few things start going, like a couple of deaths turn up, and he is the chief of police because it's a small town, so he easily got it. And he's like, well, I blame the oil company, which then in turn starts a pretty big, not like, how do you describe it? Just like the oil company start wiring the police.
Wiring?
Yeah, so like they put wires under the table, so they're like listening in. But then the police, so like he gets really drunk and he goes to the chief exec of the oil company to kill him. Neither of them kill each other, but then they like have this kind of like relationship where they want to kill each other for the rest of the series. So that was quite strange. But a couple of like villains from when that's not the right word, gangsters or whatever, from when he was undercover, find out who he is, where he is, and they go there undercover of the oil refinery as workers, and they want to get payback.
Okay. And have you seen all of it?
Yeah, so it'll smash
many
it
episodes?
out in a couple of days. There's only 10 episodes, and it was like 50-minute episodes.
Would you recommend it?
I would, yeah, definitely. But it's kind of it's a fast start, actually, and it's like a middle, slow middle,
What?
but kind of a dissatisfying end.
Okay. That's disappointing.
Uh,
Does it set up for season 2 or anything?
it doesn't,
Okay.
which is
It'd be
I
nice
don't
if
know- I
there's
don't know if
just
it's
a,
like
just
a
a
one-off.
contained series. It's nice. You know what you're getting. Okay. What else have you been watching?
so. You started the other one, haven't
I've
you?
started the
So
other
it's
one.
Mindhunter.
Mindhunter.
And I saw the trailer for that, and I loved the trailer. So I was like, gotta watch it. I smashed it out in like 2 days.
So, what is
So
it?
that is. Have you seen Hannibal, the TV series?
Yes.
You have you? I guess
No.
not. So it's pretty much the same premise as that, isn't it? It's following FBI agents and how they talk to serial killers to, as you successfully guessed, to understand their behaviour and
Do they hunt their
hopefully,
minds?
Do
they hunt their minds?
hunt their minds, pretty much, yeah. To then understand how a serial killer thinks, to eventually prevent the crimes even happening in the first place.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make any spoilers. So do you want to talk about what you've seen so far?
Yeah, so I've seen the first 2 episodes, and it's basically
Did you do it one after the other? You were like,
and do you know what? You would never guess, but this is a American TV show about 2 white FBI agents, one of whom is middle-aged and one of whom is a rookie. I've never seen that before. It's so refreshing to have more white faces
and the dudes
representing FBI. I mean, I was like, gosh, how refreshing. But apart from that...
Yeah, but it's set in the 70s, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Mr. Facts over here is going to slide over that.
Nah, that's right. Anyway, so it follows this... he's not really a rookie, but he's quite a young FBI agent who starts off, he witnesses... he's a hostage negotiator, and the situation that he's negotiating doesn't go quite to plan. And then he kind of gets pushed away from field duty into kind of teaching and recruiting kind of even younger kind of up and coming agents. And then he's really interested in psychology, about how understanding the criminal can, like you said, help prevent or solve ongoing cases, because they make a point of, up until this point, there's always been like 2 or 3 kind of motives. It's either someone's a rejected lover, or it's, it's through sex or money or revenge. And now they're encountering criminals who don't fit into any of those kind of neat categories, and it's like some people are just doing it because they can, or because
psychopaths, innit?
Yeah,
narcissists.
That they kind of so anyway, he gets put in contact with someone who's in charge of behavioural science, and then they kind of go on the road teaching local police enforcement departments about this psychology and how they can use that in their ongoing cases. But the police force are kind of old school, and they basically just say, oh yeah, so he's crazy then, and they kind of reduce it down to the base factor. But it's like, well, they're not actually, because a lot of them are highly intelligent and know actually what they're doing. And then they kind of interview, well, so far from what I've seen, one criminal who is actually he's in prison for decapitating women and his mother, and then raping their corpses. But when he's talking, and then this is probably a testament to the actor, like, he's actually really kind of charming and really engaging. And I was like, actually, if you didn't know what his crimes were, you'd actually like this person. And he reminded me of Nick Offerman.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I get that.
The way he speaks and the way he looks.
His face.
But yeah, so it's really interesting. It's quite like, there's not a lot of action. A lot of it's quite talky, but I really like the chemistry that the 2 lead FBI agents have, and then also like the actual kind of psychology of it's really interesting, and it's based partly on true stories.
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought it was all like fiction, but he talks about Ed Kemper, and I was like, because Olin, until later on, like season 6 or 7, they interview another serial killer, and I was like, they keep talking about this, and there's like newspapers that they're referencing to. I'm like, did they make up a newspaper? And I like googled it, and I was like, they're actually, because they talk about Charles Manson as well. I was like, are they going to get someone to play him or whatever?
It's really interesting.
Yeah, I think it sets up as well for season 2, which
there is definitely, they've confirmed a season 2.
I'm happy for that.
So I'm looking forward to continuing that. Mindhunter, Netflix.
Good shit.
Yeah, good shit.
Good shit.
Talking of Netflix, so a few weeks ago we all decided to watch a film.
Oh, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
We're gonna do this, man.
Because otherwise I'll forget about it and getting all 5.
It won't happen until Christmas, otherwise.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, go on. Tell you so.
I was gonna say, we all decided to watch the same film, because there are times when a couple of us have watched it, others haven't. We thought, we'll all watch the same film, we can all talk about it and give our opinions. So we decided on the Netflix film What Happened to Monday. And we've been waiting a few weeks to try and get all of us together, but it hasn't quite worked out. So I guess if Joe can come back, they can input their own opinion as well. But I think we should take this opportunity to talk about it before we forget.
Go for it.
So,
Obi.
Yeah, what did you want to say something about it before?
I was just gonna say, I feel like we should probably talk about the film first. But I was gonna say, I remember.
Oh snap! He's just gone.
Because me and you were I think me and you were chatting about it in Amsterdam. We were saying, oh, who would be Monday out of the group? And I said it'd be Afia because he's just like a stone cold piece of shit, basically. and I said that to him, and he took that as saying,
he's a go-getter.
As me calling him a determined go-getter. But yeah.
But that,
of course.
He's more of a psychopath than I am.
Oh yeah.
So,
but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So what happened to Monday is
What did happen to Monday?
Well, exactly. It's a film kind of set in the future where there's been so much overpopulation that there are kind of a China-style one-child policy.
Globally though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's imposed on everybody. And if you have a sibling, then they get cryogenically frozen.
Inverted commas.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler.
How's that a spoiler?
Inverted commas.
So they get cryogenically frozen, and the idea is that once the population kind of levels out a bit, then they will be unfrozen. So it follows Willem Dafoe's daughters. Granddaughters. Sorry,
granddaughters.
Yeah. So
does the daughter die?
I think so. So he has septuplet granddaughters. So there's 7 of them. And he has quite a, I think, ingenious idea to name them all after days of the week. So obviously Monday through Sunday. And basically to avoid having 6 of them cryogenically frozen, they all assume one personality. And on their day of the week, named after themselves, they will go out and assume this person's identity. And that way no one knows that they're all, there's 7 of them. And then basically what happens is when they're adults, one day one of them goes missing, Monday, and the other 6 try and establish what happened to her. So it features Noomi Rapace, who was the girl with the dragon tattoo.
She plays all
7,
which I thought was so well done.
Really impressive.
Christ, that must have taken forever to just go back and redo it from different angles.
Yeah, because when I was watching it, I was trying to figure out how they did it. Like either she is in every single position.
Or they have someone who looks
acting.
like her and then they just
it's superimposed her face.
Mm.
So I thought it was really, technically, from a technical perspective, it was really
and it was good
done.
as well because I know you really like Split, or I think it was.
Yeah, no, I
really like how he's like putting on this different personality. But obviously, I don't know how many personalities he does in Split. I think it's only like 3 or 4, but he's supposed to have like 20.
Yeah.
But I think this was much better than that, even though because they are like actual people as opposed to.
They all have slightly distinct personalities and traits. Like one of them's fitness guru, one of them's seems to be quite sexually adventurous. One of them's a bookworm. They are to an extent cliches, but they're also
quite funny, that isn't it? You think they'd all just turn out to be the same, but they're all like the jock, the nerd, the drug head.
So we can go into spoilerific detail, but on an overall level, what did you two think of the film?
I was surprisingly pleased.
Really good shout.
I thought it was a very good film.
Yeah.
Solid 7.75. Don't want to quite give it an 8, but don't want to give it more than 7.5.
What is it that's stopping it from getting a higher?
I don't know. It's kind of long. It was like well over 2 hours, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think so. I think like 2 hours. I want to say it's 2 hours 20, but I think I might be wrong.
Oh wow.
I might be wrong. But I did feel like it kind of dragged on a little bit, and also I kind of didn't like the ending. That kind of pulled it down a bit for me. But that aside, I thought it was a great film.
It was. It like made you think though about some like interesting aspects. So like who is going to make the hard decisions when like shit happens, and do you follow it? Do you not?
Mm.
Can
we reveal the one of the spoilers of the film, because Ollie kind of gave
wow.
this.
Yeah, we will go into
we'll go into it already.
So spoilers,
which I called, to be honest, as soon as they were like, oh yeah,
right, mate.
They're getting cryogenic.
Yeah, okay, what do you mean?
So these children are not being cryogenically frozen; they're basically being burned to death. Yeah. And like, what's the word? Incinerated.
Yeah.
Basically turned into nothing. Which I like. As soon as they said, oh yeah, I think it was the mayor woman. She was like, oh yeah, your children will be cryogenically frozen and da 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 da.
She's a baddie.
Yeah, and I was like, they're definitely being killed, because there's no way of telling, like, because you're not going to be alive. The people who are alive now aren't going to be alive
Yeah.
when these people are supposedly supposed to be released.
Yeah.
So there's no way of telling. So they were definitely killing them all off, and obviously you find that out like through maybe like 7/8 into the film. But
I did wonder what they would do with all the frozen children.
well, yeah, just stockpiling.
Yeah, exactly.
In the freezer. But yeah, no, the film was really good. I found it quite what's the word? Lost my train.
We struggle with adjectives.
Yeah, I lost my train.
I feel like good, bad.
Yeah, literally. Crap. Like morally, I found it quite interesting. Like the bit at the end. I don't want to skip to the end. Sorry, we should probably talk about the beginning first. The beginning of the film first.
Go backwards.
Shall I go backwards?
Yeah, why not?
So I found it quite like so. I kind of got it at the end, but I did. So basically, what happens is they're looking for Monday, and in the process, they all die apart from Friday and Tuesday.
But Tuesday loses her eye.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday loses her eye. Oh, that was kind of sad.
Ouch.
But yeah, you're led to believe that Tuesday is dead, but she's not. But so at the end, you find out that basically Monday has conspired against all of her sisters to basically kill them all, so that she can assume the persona of Karen Striker, Stringer, something like that.
Yeah.
Karen something. So she can be Karen. She can be like the one and only Karen and live her life because she's pregnant.
Slater.
Something like that.
Slater.
Because basically she's fallen in love with a security guard or something like that, and she's pregnant. And obviously, because in this film, they all have to like when they go out and
But she's pregnant with twins, isn't she?
Yeah, when they go out and they have to be Karen, they all have to like be the same, act the same. So like they show that when they're younger, I think Friday goes out on a she sneaks out on a skateboard and rips off her finger basically. So then Willem Dafoe, the granddad, he has to chop off all of their pinky fingers. I think it's the pinky.
So that everything's
and everything's the same.
And the whole point is that they need to come back after every day and share any important information.
Yeah.
So
it's such an out there idea. I was never expecting that. I thought literally it was just going to be like a boring office film or something. But it turned out to be, like a really just out there idea.
Yeah. I did kind of feel like the twist that Monday is evil and would rat out all of her sisters was a bit like, I don't know. I kind of felt like it wasn't
realistic.
I didn't believe it. I didn't believe in it.
I think she was fed up
because she was pregnant.
She wanted to protect her children, which I think was a bit. And they the bit that I didn't like is that like the sisters like forgave her sort of thing. I would have been like.
Does she die at the end?
She dies, yeah.
What happens to the twins? I can't remember.
They're in that they're doing that tube.
Yeah.
Like cryogenically made or whatever, some bollocks like that. But so like if I was the sister, I would be like, well, you just got 4 of our sisters killed, so you can suck your mum and I'm fuck it. I would have killed her myself. Fuck that.
The only one bit that annoyed me was when I don't know, like the second or third day after she got missing, and she was running from the cops, and she had her sisters in her ear telling her where to go, and then they were in their house, and then the police came or whatever, and then like half an hour, however much time passes, they're like, oh god, the other sister, and they were talking to her for so long. I was like, you wouldn't forget her immediately, would you? That really bugged me. They
did have to beat up quite a few people in their house though.
Yeah, but still, like,
I don't know. I feel like they were quite close sisters. They could have just been like, she could have been like, oh, do you not fall in love? Like, I really want to be Karen.
Yeah.
I want to move out with this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they would have been like, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Well,
no, you can't because, like that just can't happen because either she goes out and beats Karen and they all have to stay in the house and just stay there.
But at least if
they all die.
If they'd broached that subject before and then all the sisters were like, no, then fair enough, you'd understand her kind of.
But you kind of assume, to be honest, that they wouldn't be okay with it because either they're going to be cooped up in that house forever or they're all going to die.
Yeah.
Really.
Also, I think If you were Saturday or Sunday, you'd have it sweet.
You haven't got to go to
Sunday,
work.
what?
You don't have to go to work.
You don't have to work.
You can
Yeah,
chill
but
out.
Sunday's such a shit day.
Yeah, but you don't do fuck all, mate. They're always like, oh, we've got this big presentation. It's like, oh, Saturday and Sunday just sitting there.
This world.
Yeah, no, but they can go out in the other people's days, aren't they? Because when the Monday don't come back.
They can, but
Tuesday
they're not supposed to.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, I really don't want to go out. There's someone who want to go out on Friday instead. It's like,
Yeah, but if you were like,
But you would want to go out.
if you were
I
Monday,
really don't want to go to work. Does anyone else want to go to work?
if you were
instead?
Monday, you'd be pissed off because start of the working week. Friday, you'd be like,
But
it's
it's not
alright.
for
You go
them,
out for
is
Friday
it?
night drinks.
It's not for them.
So I'd
They've got a
be
week off.
Joe. I'd be like, if I was Tuesday or Wednesday, I'd be like, do you know what? Can we just swap Saturday for like a every other month?
Yeah, but I
Also, if
think
you're
it's not hard.
Wednesday-
If you work one day a week, you've got it off
Pretty
alright.
If you're Wednesday, at least you could get 2-for-1 cinema tickets. Can't on any other day.
Is that still,
So-
are they still doing it now?
so-
Is that making movies?
I want to talk about this world they're living in.
What about Thursday? Late
Do you know?
Night
Do you know what?
Shopping?
There's two things about this film that, apart from the ending, that I didn't really like. So, basically, these people who are like tasked with killing all the sisters after Monday rats them all out. Like the male, he's whatever, but the black woman who was with the guy, I swear her only task in the film was to say, get the fuck out of the way, and just start running with a gun and trying to shoot people. She didn't have any other and she died at the end.
Yeah.
And spoiler, she didn't have any other dialogue apart from that. I thought
Nah.
that was a bit shit. I could have given her a bit more to do.
Yeah.
And also, so on one of the days, the day where it's just Friday and Saturday left, or just Thursday and Friday. I don't know. Who's the nerdy one?
That's Thursday, wasn't it?
Maybe Thursday. And Thursday basically blows up the apartment and kills herself. How the hell did the evil guy survive that?
I don't know.
I saw him get blown back. There was a grenade or something exploded. There was a gas explosion or something.
Yeah.
And he came out and he had a scratch on his nose and that was it. He wasn't burnt, singed or anything.
She did not need to die.
It was
She
a door,
could've
though,
got-
wasn't it?
she
The
could've-
door hit.
she was-
Yeah, but even still,
She
you
was
expect him to be like-
outside, and then she could have gone
They could've
upstairs,
got away, yeah.
made the gas.
Yeah.
It would have exploded anyway. She just decided to sit there. It was like that.
And also her blowing out the building didn't really achieve anything.
No.
At all.
What I did like about the film though is that I couldn't guess a lot of it.
It was kind of ruthless.
Yeah, so I can't remember which one. Maybe it was Sunday. The one was quite sporty and physically fit.
The one who was leaping across the building.
Yeah. So
I
she
think
was
that
like-
I think that was Wednesday.
So she was like the most physically powerful,
No, it
the
wasn't
best
Wednesday.
in combat,
No.
and she was one of the first ones to die.
I think it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
And yeah, they just kept culling them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is actually quite good.
Yeah.
I like films or shows where you think someone's going to be the main protagonist and then they die quite.
Yeah.
It's,
It was. I was thoroughly
Like
engaged.
the underdog.
Yeah.
It's the story of the underdog.
it's just like
coming-
something that's
coming up.
not predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thoroughly engaged throughout the film.
Yeah.
I would say it was a good choice from I think Chris. picked
So,
it. I don't think Chris has even seen it yet.
so you were saying that you knew at the start that the bad woman was lying.
Yeah.
Did you think that Monday was collude?
No, that was actually
Was that a shock twist?
yeah, that twist got me. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I was like, ooh,
What
one of them. Yeah.
What I thought was that the sort of Glenn Close, isn't it, the actress, whoever she plays, the mayor. I thought that she would have children who were siblings and would somehow need to kind of people would discover that and she had to kind of protect them. I thought that would be quite good, but
Do you know? What,
Maybe a sequel.
Do you know what I thought was really kind of funny? So at the end, so they take a video of the children being burned to death, and they release it at this press conference that the mayor is talking at, and as the people are watching the children being burned, the mayor turns around and she faints, she's like, ooh, and she faints, and I was like, that's not the fakest faint I've ever seen. That's like when you watch a film about people who go to black gospel churches and the woman gets taken by the Holy Spirit and she's like, oh, take me, and she was falling down. I was like, that is the you've ordered this. How can you look at it and be like, oh, and start fainting?
Maybe she was faking it.
Well, even so, if she was faking it,
Fair play.
come on.
yeah, but maybe she's trying to pretend like she didn't know what was happening.
She kind of gave up quite quickly. She said, "Oh, I didn't know." Or she's like,
and she
"It had to happen."
Yeah, exactly. She's like, she was like, "Oh, I hate what would happen when you guys have to make the tough decisions or something like that." So I wouldn't kill like thousands of children, but yeah, that was.
If worse comes to, if push comes to shove, we haven't got enough food. Football stadiums, mate, easy. Just tough them out. Plenty of acres for food.
And also,
You'd hate that, wouldn't you?
poor Alex Hunter just gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
From FIFA. Alex Hunter from FIFA was in it, and he just gets shot in the head. And also, where are the police? Because these people who are killing the Monday and Sunday and all them lot.
They are the police.
Are they? Because they just got they got them. Those mercenaries went round and they shot Alex Hunter in the head, no consequences. And then they're just going around. When Wednesday was running around the streets, they were just shooting at her and they were shooting like civilians and nothing. There seemed to be no consequences.
I think they're like a secret police though, because I was watching.
Not so secret because they killed bare people.
Yeah, but I was watching. I wasn't watching it all. Just the part of Mission Impossible 3 was on last night. And it was the bit where they're on the bridge and they get attacked by the drone, and it's like a public like motorway bridge, and this drone just shoots missiles at the bridge, blows up the bridge. Some guys on helicopters come, start shooting everyone, and the agents with Tom Cruise with Ethan Hunt or whatever they're like, get down to civilians. So
I thought it was a bit mad, to be honest.
Don't sit hear it in the news though, do you? Secret police. Shoot.
Yeah.
Not so secret police.
No.
That would be top headline.
Good film, man.
Yeah.
Good film. So if you guys had, what day of the week do you think you guys would be? Who do you think you'd? So I already said Happy Hour Monday.
Don't know, a bit of
Happy
all.
Hour's
Can you not? I'd be a bit of all of
No,
them.
but if you out of all the personas,
which one would I want to be, or which one would I?
Do you know what I was? Sorry. Quickly, I was kind of the death that I was the most like. Oh, okay, it's not that bad. With was
it's not that bad.
Who's the one with the pink hair?
Was she the one who?
The Virgin.
Yeah, Thursday. Because she got laid and then she died, so that's not too.
Yeah.
So that wasn't too bad. At least she had sex before she died.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but ouch! She sleeps with her
that's,
sister's boyfriend.
Well, yeah, and he was shot in the head.
That's a actual thing in like horror film theories.
What,
like,
the Virgin?
The Virgin, like
always survives.
when a woman has sex and it makes her like, I don't know what, dirty or something, and then they end up dying because it's like, they're quote unquote impure. So it's interesting. I don't know if that was purposeful, but
interesting.
The Virgin then loses her V's.
Yeah.
Gets a little bit of yeah.
Hanky panky.
Innit? Bit as your father. But I wouldn't mind being well, Friday, because she lived. So she seemed like she seemed like a bit of a leader, but not like stupid enough to get herself killed, basically. Like unlike what's her name, Wednesday, who just started breaking into people's house. They were like, do you know what? That was a really dumb plan. That was a really, really dumb plan. They were like, yeah, go to this guy's house, assume that you're not being followed or anything like that, and then she goes to the house. That guy gets killed. That guy didn't even do anything wrong. I don't think,
no, but she stayed there. She could have left.
Well, she got surrounded, but she shouldn't have gone. She shouldn't have gone to that guy's house in the first place.
I'd probably be the one who, like, jumped across the roof and got shot. It's just my luck, innit?
That's your luck.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna make it as well. That was kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie, because like in the typical, like, it's like you said earlier about it being unpredictable, in a typical like action film, that was when I was thinking, okay, they're gonna kill off everybody.
Yeah.
Like when she jumped across the roof and she kind of, or did she make it, or did?
Well, she was
she
hanging on by the edge.
And then he shot her.
And he shot her in the head.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of.
He shot her while she was mid jump.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, but that was kind of.
I'd probably definitely be the one who dies first as well. The one that melee. Remember she dies. I can't even remember what day she was. But she just died by being stabbed and just bled to death. I was like, oh yeah, probably be me.
That was kind of poop. Yeah, fuck Monday though.
Innit?
Fuck Mondays.
Hate Mondays.
Come on guys, it's not that bad.
No, fuck Monday. Fuck Monday. No, seriously, like, fuck Monday. She's a dickhead. Fucking piece of shit.
Onto kind of new releases.
Carrying on.
Yeah, moving on swiftly.
Talking of death, I watched a film on Friday called Happy Death Day, which is
it's like the Edge of Tomorrow, isn't it? It's the exact
sort
same.
of. It's like Groundhog Day crossed with Scream, which is what other people have named it as, and I agree with them. So it's like a teen horror. It's not really horror, but it's like a teen slasher thriller about a girl called Teresa, I think her name is, who
Teresa May.
who wakes up on her birthday and basically gets murdered, and then she wakes up on her birthday, and so the plot of the film is she has to figure out who is murdering her and why.
I can't think of, I'm sorry, I just can't think of anything worse of reliving the same fucking moment or day as so the Tom Cruise Edge of Tomorrow, that is like...
Do you not like that film?
No, I do, but it's when he's like, they do the montage of him waking up doing the same thing, and he's like trying to do something different. Oh, it winds me up. I can do it.
But yeah, so it follows her, and basically it's also like not a coming of age story, but like she gets to know about herself and has time to reflect on herself, sort of thing. I know you're gonna go and see it, so I'm not gonna spoil anything about it. But it wasn't quite what I was expecting, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
What were you expecting?
So I was thinking it would be kind of more of an out and out horror, because the trailer makes it look quite sinister,
savage,
in the sense that, you know, you get the guy with the baby mask popping up behind her, and you know, like Halloween or things like proper slasher films where it's kind of like a cat and mouse. This was more, that was like interspersed with it, but the most of it was basically like a teen high school drama. Even like a comedy. There's quite a lot of comedy in it as well. But there's also there's lots of cliches within it. So like she's like a sorority girl, so she's like basically a bitch. And all her sorority girls are well like clean eating, and anyone who eats chips is a slag and anything like this.
We are slags.
So
I would like to know if that's an actual line.
That is not a direct quote, but it should be.
Chips to a slag.
So they play on.
Sorry,
they play on a lot of like the high school cliches. Like they're quite aware of it. So I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it would be more kind of bloody and gory, but it kind of feels like, so it's a 15, but I can imagine in America it'd be PG-13. So it's kind of just a little bit like, there's not a lot of blood in it. There's not really a lot of jump scares. So it's definitely, you know, I know you don't like horrors, but so it would definitely be something you could watch. You'd probably quite enjoy it.
If you knew that someone was coming for you, where would you go though? And where, like,
Nigeria.
so like, well, like, no. So you have like what, 12 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours. You have one day to go somewhere where you are going to be safe. Like
Nigeria. Get there at 6. 5 hours to spare.
Yeah, but they might be on the plane as well. That person might.
Well, then in that case, I can't go anywhere, can I? If you say, oh yeah, they might be on the plane. They might be anywhere. I could go to, oh yeah, I'll go to the park. Oh, they might be in the park.
Yeah,
Oh,
but at least you'd see them coming.
I'd see them coming on the plane as well, surely not.
No, because they wouldn't kill you until.
I can be like, oh yeah, I'll go
right?
to Manchester Travel Lodge. Oh, they could be there as well.
Yeah, of course they could be.
So what's the point of this then? If you say to me, where would you go? And I say, I go to Nigeria. Oh, he could be on the plane, so he could be anywhere. So that renders this question.
So
that renders this question absolutely pointless. I'm just saying.
I would stay exactly where I was.
Just see him coming.
Because every time I go out, I end up dying. So I'd be like, I'm just gonna stay where I am.
What would you do then?
I don't know, get like a Zorb or something, like a big ball, and then go to a park and then...
And then what?
I don't know.
Just get a Zorb.
Die in a Zorb.
I don't know. Maybe get a boat.
I'd be so shit if you died as Zorb, because the Zorb would be going, but you'd be dead. And you'd be flying around. You'd just be floating around the Zorb, but you're dead. No, fuck that, man. I don't want to die that way. I'd rather die on a plane.
Rather die on a plane?
Yeah.
But there's some fairly good kind of twists-ish in this. It's not too predictable. So yeah, it was alright. I'd be interested to see your opinion.
Are we going to see it?
Yeah, I'm going to see it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, game on.
Game on.
We're going to see it.
I saw Hell or High Water.
Yeah.
Which I've been wanting to watch for ages, and I finally bought it on DVD and watched it, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Yeah, so it's a kind of heist film in a sense.
Like a western.
Yeah, western heist film set in Texas. It's written by Taylor Sheridan, who wrote Sicario and directed Wind River. So this is like part of that trilogy which I mentioned a few weeks ago about, I think it's American frontiers, and basically just like kind of dispersed American lives. It's not set in big cities, so this is like basically buttfuck nowhere, Texas. And it's like these two brothers played by Chris Pine and Ben Foster, who pretty poor cowboys. They
I
go.
thought they were both really, really good. Like their performances, I thought.
Yeah, really good performances.
Really solid.
But they basically rob banks to, well, what you find out later is to pay off their late mother's mortgage debt, which basically, you know, like these payday loans, she's got one of them and they've basically extorted her. But it's quite clever in the fact that they hit the banks in the morning when there's no one there, so they have no casualties, and they take small bills so that they're, you know, not as traceable, and they don't take large amounts. And then they end up being pursued by Jeff Bridges and Gil Birmingham, I think his name is, the Native American actor. So they basically are only a couple of steps behind all the time, basically following their exploits. It was not a 90-odd minute film, so it wasn't long. But it also wasn't like that fast paced. It was quite slow, but not in like a bad sense. Like you got to know the characters, and I actually really liked the two brothers.
Same.
Chris Pine was like the more level-headed one.
Yeah,
Was
the
only
one,
doing
the
this.
other one was crazy.
Yeah, he was just would shoot people and everything. But it was really good. That it was also kind of not your average like police chase, you know, film. Like
On horses.
well, no.
Right.
There was a bit where so I think they robbed a bank and basically it went wrong, and then civilians just got into their cars and started chasing them.
Vigilante type.
Yeah,
thing,
like shooting and getting the shotguns out and started shooting them and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, like, I wouldn't happen, like if someone robbed the bank, I wouldn't start going after them.
But I like
It's a
the
death
fact.
wish.
So obviously I'm going to spoil it, but I like the fact that you know, it's obviously Ben Foster's character, the older brother, the kind of psychopath. He ends up dying after basically shooting.
Do you think he knew he was gonna die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how he wanted to
He
go.
just kind of went for it.
Yeah, like
He just come out of
suicide
prison,
by
though,
cop.
hadn't he, or something?
Yeah, I think he didn't really have anything to live for,
Yeah.
did he? He helped his brother out, you know, paid off his mum's debt, so he was like, I'm done. And also that helped Chris Pine get away. I think their names are like Taylor and Tyler or something. I don't know. Began with T. I'm really bad at remembering characters' names. Yeah, and then so obviously like, and then it ends with Chris Pine's character at his ranch, which is now left to his children, and then Jeff Bridges arrives and he's like, look, I know it was you. I know you were there. Yeah, I think, and Jeff Bridges retired at this point. And I think he wanted to like die in the course of action, because he was kind of like, there was that tense moment where they both had guns and he was like, when are we going to finish this sort of thing? But I like the fact that, you know, they both survive, but they both know about what the other's doing. It's quite, you know, different in that sense. Like, it's not the baddie ends up in prison, you know, the cop wins.
Yeah, he actually got away with it. That's what I liked about it.
And he wasn't really, I mean, he does criminal actions, but he wasn't really a bad guy.
He was doing it for it was like kind of like a social justice sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about it, though, was that the Native American character spends the entire film getting like ribbed about his ancestry by Jeff Bridges and then dies.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's odd because the guy who wrote this also wrote Wind River, which, you know, is kind of shedding light on Native American kind of problems, although it does feature primarily a white cast. But yeah, the fact that I would understand it if Jeff Bridges' character was saying, oh, you know, making jokes about his race, and then Gil Birmingham says basically like, oh yeah, you know, why are you doing this, you're ignorant, sort of thing. If there was like if they were doing it to expose the fact that he's ignorant or something, but there wasn't any comment on it. There's no social commentary. It was basically just like, basically racism, and then the guy dies. Yeah. I was a bit like, oh, he didn't need to. I actually would have liked it better if Jeff Bridges had died, because he was like approaching the end of his career.
Do you think that the other guy would have been able to kind of like pull in the ending the way that Jeff Bridges did, sort of thing? Because I felt like when the Native American guy, I can't remember his name, died, you could see that like Jeff Bridges' character became even more like determined to like to like get these guys.
True.
I'm assuming because he actually did. This guy was actually like his friend. I'm assuming anyway. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I just kind of feel like they should have been a bit more pushback on the band.
and also like the
band
scene at the end with him and Chris Pine.
Yeah,
you kind of needed the two.
You need an actor of Jeff Bridges' caliber to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was a bit disappointed by that. But it was that loose trilogy is very strong.
I need to watch the other one.
Sicario.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I think Sicario is the weakest of them, but critically it's been really well received.
Yeah, that's a good film.
Decent.
What have you been watching, Oliver?
Well, should we talk about the one that we've seen together?
Oh yeah,
Otherwise
I completely forgot about
it.
Yeah. So the mountain between us, or a mountain between us, I don't know. So it's a film. It's a film about.
We're laughing. Oh, I know we're laughing. Oh, it's so
it's a film about
oh my god.
Two people who basically they're snowed out of a there's a storm basically, and they can't fly back to think they want to fly back to Boston, and they can't do it. So one of them has the genius idea of saying, yeah, let's charter a helicopter, and they get this geezer to fly them in a helicopter across the whatever. And I think they ask the guy, the pilot, before they fly off, like, have you got a I want to say a map, but it's something more complicated than a map or something like that. But he's basically like, no, I'm going to do it freelance. And they're like, okay, cool. So then they get like up there in the air for maybe what? I don't even know how long, maybe an hour, 2 hours. And then there's like loads of like turbulence and stuff because there's a.
I only laughed because you're laughing, and I felt so bad.
Because there's a massive fucking storm coming.
Yeah.
And then the fucking pilot has a fucking stroke.
Oh my god.
he's like in the front. He's like talking to them. And they're like flying, and he's like turning back and talking to them. And he's like, and he starts like spazzing out having a stroke, and he's like going back and forth. And then they have to strap in. And then basically they crash, and they're in the middle of nowhere on icy mountains. And somehow the dog survived. I'm pretty sure the dog didn't have a seatbelt on, but somehow the dog survived. And they survived. The woman, Kate Winslet's character, she broke her leg basically. And
Idris Elba is a doctor.
Idris Elba's a doctor, yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention.
So she got lucky there, really.
Yeah, exactly. And the pilot died. I don't know if he died from impact or if he froze to death. I'm not sure. That wasn't very clear. But I'm pretty sure he was drinking as well because the guy, Idris Elba, pulled out a flask from his pocket. So they got a pilot who didn't want to use a map, who was a drunk.
To be fair, even if he was sober, he was
well, yeah.
wasn't he?
So the first 10 minutes of that film, I thought, when the guy started having a stroke, I literally burst out laughing. I thought the first 10 minutes of that film was so stupid. And even the fact that they were like, oh yeah, there's no plane, so let's charter a helicopter. Let's get a random
helicopter,
guy.
Which is probably less secure.
Exactly. Let's just go get a guy to drive.
What was
No, it was a little plane.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
What's the motivation for them to need to get back home so desperately?
So Kate Winslet had to get home for her wedding, which I think was in like 3 days' time. And Idris Elba, he was a neurosurgeon, and basically there was a patient that he needed to operate on like urgently.
Like a 12-year-old kid, he'd say.
Right.
So that's it, and then survival. So
yeah,
they've got to survive. They have because this has happened in real life on several occasions where I'm sure in the Andes. I don't know if you've seen the film about the group.
Is it called Alive?
Huh?
Is it called Alive?
I think so, maybe. And they've got to survive, and they don't know whether to. Do you leave the site? Do you stay there waiting for help? Do you eat who's dead or what's dead so you can survive for just that little bit longer? So they kind of have that discussion. So Kate Winslet is like the go-getter, despite her actually being physically unable because she's like hurt her leg. She's like, we can't stay here. And Idris is like, no, we've got to be sensible. We're not gonna,
Oh,
no one knows where they are.
No, exactly. Let's be very clear. If Idris Elba died, in the crash, Kate Winslet's character would not have survived. She would not have survived without him.
So she does survive.
She does survive. Spoiler.
Yeah.
So
this film sounds shit.
So okay, no. To be honest, the beginning of it is pretty crap, but I think it gets better as it goes along. I think anyway.
It gets a bit raunchy.
Yeah, it does.
No, there are a lot of just stairs. Oh
So-
no, not even stairs. It's like when you're walking away and then you're like looking
Yeah.
back and you're just
That
you're
side
thinking
eye.
about it. You're like
Yeah.
you're walking away and you slowly close your eyes and you're thinking about the person you just left.
So like, they stay at the crash site. They stay at the crash site for like maybe 3 or 4 days, I think. And basically, Kate Winslet's like, I'm leaving now, like, because I have to try and find something. I can't just stay here and die. She's like, I'm going without whether or not you're coming or not. And in the end, he does go after her, and then they basically are trudging through the snow. For I think in the end it's like 3 weeks or something like that.
What are they eating?
They killed a cougar, I think,
Oh, yeah,
and they
or like
survived
a
on that
mountain
for
lion or something.
yeah, they survived on that for a while. But like it's kind of it's kind of like it's supposed it is a survival film, but then it's also about like how these two characters who literally they've got nothing but each other, they basically needed each other and their connection.
They're really quite clever
like,
on some occasions of like survival tactics, despite them. Well, I don't know from their characters, but it doesn't seem that they have actual any knowledge of survival tactics.
Yeah.
They're kind of just using their like common sense, or like he's a surgeon, so he thinks of different ways to everything medical, obviously.
Yeah.
But like just cut up the pilot and eat him. Sorry,
No.
I know.
Wow,
Ugh.
controversial.
No.
Controversial. Well,
Do they end up getting together?
So yeah, so basically,
So she fucks off her wedding anyway.
They're together for so long that they're basically like, so there's like this theory that if you're with someone for a certain amount of time and all you have is each other basically, and all you're doing is talking to each other, that eventually like you'll fall in love with each other or something like that.
Like you fell in love with me.
Exactly. So it's something of that. It's something of that ilk. So like it gets to a point where, she freezes to death. She is on like a bit of ice. I think this bit's in the trailer. I don't know if you've seen the trailer.
No.
But okay, so it turns out the ice cracks and she just falls straight in. And then Idris has got to like run from the other side of the forest, and he's like has to dive his hand in and grab her out. And then they find this cabin, and they get her in the cabin. He like takes her clothes off and all that stuff. And I thought initially, I thought that he was gonna fuck her to keep her warm. So I thought that was what was gonna happen.
He's like, you know what we're gonna do.
But that's not what happened. So, but then yeah, she gets warm, and he, I think at that point when he's like taking care of her, she's like basically like unconscious. Like I think maybe a good couple of days, and he's basically like taking care of her. And I think in that moment he's like kind of like falling in love with her sort of thing.
Okay.
And I think maybe like a day or two later they bang basically, and
we like so. I was just gonna skip to the end because like they. Or did you want to just carry on?
Well, there was one.
Did you have a certain...
There was one thing that I wanted to say, but I suppose,
Yeah.
it can kind of come after we get to the end. So.
Okay, so like they bang, and then the rest of the movie is then they end up finding a little bit of help. Probably, the one point in time that you're glad for deforestation. And
Idris Elba's
massive
leg
logging.
gets trapped in a bear trap.
That was painful. That was so
nasty.
just annoyed at it. So yeah, they kind of go back to their old lives. And they're clearly thinking about one another, and then they do eventually.
Sorry.
Oh, are you gonna jump?
One sec.
Okay.
So Idris Elba is like, after he gets caught in the bear trap, and I think Kate Winslet's gone for help. He like kind of wakes up. I don't know how many days later, and he's like in the hospital. He goes to see her in the hospital bed, and they're like, oh my god, they're like kind of like, oh my god, we made it. Da, da, da. And I think he's about to like either kiss her or hug or something like that, and then her fiance comes out of like the toilet or something, and he just looks at Idris, and he's like, oh thanks mate. Like that's like it was a really insincere thanks. Like he literally saved your future wife's life.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh yeah, cheers.
And he barely made eye contact.
Yeah.
I think he like looked at him and
It's like
just
Bran though, isn't it? Bran to
Well, yeah, literally. But sorry, carry on.
Well, I was just gonna say that like so. I mean, ending is happy ending is that they kind of. I don't know, decide that they should be together.
So okay, we found out that the fiance's a bit of a dick, basically, and we were kind of like, yeah, she should leave this guy, and he like goes back to because he like sees them together, so he was like, oh, I can't interfere, so he kind of like tries to cut off his connection with her,
Yeah.
and she basically like bringing him up because she wants to like talk to him,
And he was like, no, it's more in the moment.
yeah,
sort of
exactly.
thing.
So I think his idea was that they only like felt the way they felt about each other because they were in that situation, and that on the outside it wouldn't really work.
Yeah.
So he was like ignoring her calls.
Which is totally fair.
Yeah, which is
I
justified.
think because, I mean, we actually agreed that they had shit chemistry.
But yeah, to be fair, the two
film.
actors didn't have great chemistry.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't fantastic. But so like, I think she took pictures of him, whilst they were like, because he was like, if I'm gonna die, I want to at least like have a good picture of me or something like that. So she took pictures of him, and then she sent them to him, and then he rang her up, and then they met up, and basically they had a chat, and they were like, basically we should just like, what happened because we were in the moment, we should leave it at that. Cool. And then they like go to the restaurant, they say bye, they both walk away, and then they're both like, fuck, and then they like turn around, and then they like, the film ends as they're about to like embrace.
Okay.
Which I thought was a good ending, because if they hadn't, because I like a happy ending, so if they hadn't gotten together, I would have been pretty pissed off. However, there was a point. So what I was gonna say earlier, there was a point in the film where I think kind of before they got rescued, where they both were so like tired, they were just like sitting, they just laid down by a tree. This is why they stay like in all the snow and stuff like that, and then it makes you think that it's maybe like, I don't know, maybe like a good few minutes later, and the dog is like barking at them, trying to get him to like wake up, and he's like nudging him, and he like grabs Idris, and like the dog like grabs him by his teeth and like pulls Idris down to the floor, and he's just like not moving basically, and he's like rolling down this hill, like not waking up. And I thought they had died, so I thought it kind of would have been decent if they had kind of like died together, like in each other's arms, sort of thing. And I kind of thought that
left the dog.
And I kind of thought that would have been the dog survives as well. I kind of thought that would have been the ending. I thought that kind of would have been like maybe like a little surprise, like half decent ending. But yeah, I thought it was an okay film personally.
It was just, I was just really let down by that chemistry, because it just kind of set out the whole mood of the film.
You gotta believe in them as a couple.
Exactly, yeah. And they're just like, they didn't get on. And I know like couples can not get on, but like they didn't even seem to get on when they did get on.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that when she fell into the lake, like Idris wasn't like, you let Jack die. You die, bitch.
Literally. That's what it should have been like.
So, Ollie, what's Pay It Forward?
No, we'll do that next week.
Okay. You've written it on our list, and I'm like,
I know, I wrote it on the list last week as well.
Did you?
Yeah, mate.
Okay. Right. Pay It Forward. We'll look forward to that next week.
Yep.
I also want to mention I watched a film called The Raid, which is an Indonesian
yes.
action
Good lad.
kind of martial arts film. It's basically about this.
Indonesian, yeah, because last time I said like Korean and you fucking called me a racist.
Well, because
Who, me?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Indonesians are not Koreans. But yeah, so it's about this rookie cop who is part of a kind of raid team on this building, which is controlled by a drug kingpin. And kind of the central point is that they need to get rid of him because obviously he's, you know, a drug dealer, and he's basically keeping all his residents. You know, he controls them. They just want to get rid of him because he's bad for the city. So they have to basically clear each floor till they get to the top to try and capture him. And then obviously they get found out by his henchmen, and basically, yeah, it's just like an hour and a bit of fighting, which is so cool.
Ever.
But like the choreography and the camera work is so good. It's not like really quick editing that you can't really make out what's happening. Like you could sort of feel all the crunches, and you can sort of believe that. And I don't know this for certain, but I believe that the actors were doing their own stunts, because a lot of them were like trained in martial arts. And also the fact that a lot of the deaths and the fighting was quite inventive. So there's a part where the main guy, I think he's called Rama, so he gets basically kicked through a door, and then what he does is he runs back towards the door, grabs the guy's head, jumps backwards and slams his head down onto the splinters of the door.
I fucking mentioned this back when we were talking about this.
Oh, did we?
I said that was like the best death.
That was
you were
sick.
looking at me like squinting, like, ugh.
It was sick because it's just like so inventive the way that they do it. You know, it's not just. Oh, that was my phone. It's not just a punching shoot. You know, it's basically John Wick on steroids.
Indonesian John Wick.
Indonesian John Wick.
John Wick.
And obviously,
Wow.
so obviously there was betrayal.
Racist.
betrayal within the
I can't believe
betrayal within the police force, and there's a couple of twists. I'm not gonna ruin it, but yeah, I just thought in general it was a really good action film.
The second one's here. You can take it, mate.
I've got it.
Have it
at home. I will watch it. And it's also like, even though it's in Indonesian, like you don't really need much the dialogue. It's just you just appreciate it for it being a solid action film. And it's such a simple premise as well. Just like get to the top of a building.
Well, yeah, it's the same as Judge Dredd.
Yeah, exactly.
Judge Dredd, they copied the same story. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd thoroughly recommend.
But that is a foreign movie that is in my top 5 films like ever.
Fair play.
So Hollywood, you can do whatever with Marvel and make billions, but you're not fucking top of the list, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just hope
Not top of your list.
You're gone.
No one gives a shit about your list.
I just hope they
Please
don't
don't.
remake it. To be fair.
What, remake the Raid?
Yeah, I hope they don't.
Hollywood style.
Yeah,
Ugh, God.
because
I bet they will, won't they? Of course they will.
I mean, what difference would it make if they were American? Literally nothing.
Speaking of martial arts, though, when's that film with Jackie Chan out? Him and Pierce Brosnan. I saw the trailer for that ages ago, but there's nothing.
No idea. Should probably look that up.
Have you seen the trailer for that?
No, that's not what you mean.
Well, he looks really old, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's so upsetting.
Yeah. It looks like a good film, though.
Isn't there going to be a
does.
Rush Hour 4?
It's been in the pipeline for like 2
I think he
decades.
confirmed it or something.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I think Jackie. Oh, I don't know if he. I don't know.
Old man Chris Tucker.
Yeah, I think either Jackie Chan confirmed or he confirmed that he said he was up for it and that Chris Tucker needs to basically say yeah.
The best bit about the films is the fucking outtakes at the end.
Yeah.
Really? That doesn't say a lot for the films.
Have you not seen them? Oh, dude.
It's funny.
No, I say it's the best bit. It's the funniest bit, but the
First-
whole
the
film
first-
is amazing.
yeah.
The film is a 5 out of 5.
The first
but-
two are pretty good, I think. The third one's okay. But yeah, no, I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you want to mention anything else? You got Scandal, Empire, and Riverdale written down here.
I can leave Empire. Riverdale. I think Chris is gonna watch Riverdale, so maybe I'll wait for him to.
Okay.
But I'll talk about Scandal quickly. So, Scandal's probably a better show than I give it credit for, because I remember when we were talking about it ages ago, I kind of like ripped into it and saying like the plot was a bit shit, which it kind of is, but the acting is really strong. So like, what happened at the end of last season, basically, the guy who was going to be elected president was assassinated, and they kind of spent like the whole season kind of going through the assassination, like from every character who was involved's point of view.
Okay.
So that was quite interesting, and then it all kind of culminated in the woman that this president elect was running against, Melly, she becomes president basically at the end of the season. And the main character, Olivia Pope, that she's her chief of staff. And so the start of this season, Olivia Pope is basically like become the dog's bollocks, but is also acting like she's the dog's bollocks. And I think she's getting a little bit too big for her boots, and it's kind of word to Stormzy, and it's kind of annoying me. Throughout most, I think we're in series 7 now. Throughout the series, they kind of show her father, who's a fantastic actor, by the way, Joe Morton, I think is his name. They kind of show her father as like he's like the head of this corporation called B613, which is kind of like basically a secret organization, kind of like the CIA, but they're above everyone, including like the president, and they're quite like a covert operations sort of thing. And basically, the end of last season, when Melly becomes president, Liv basically, she dismantled B613 because she wanted to stop her father, because she saw her father as being evil. But then when Melly becomes president, she's like, oh no, we need the B613. So then she starts to install her own version of it, but instead she's the head of it and she controls it. So now they call the head of it Rowan. So now she's Rowan, she's command or whatever they call it. So now this season, she's kind of basically shown her, she's been a proper bitch. And like, she's basically taking control of everything and everybody and showing everyone that she's the big dog, which I kind of appreciate. But at the same time, I feel like she's kind of setting up her own downfall because she's kind of being a prick to everybody.
Okay.
But it's interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the season.
Has it still got legs? It's not getting to the point
This should be the last season. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie. Like, it's gone on a bit long.
Yeah.
But I suppose they're doing a new. They are doing a new route. So with Olivia being chief of staff and Melly being the first woman president in that universe, the first woman president. So they're trying to do different stuff.
Is it becoming a bit House of Cardsy?
Not really, because I wouldn't say the House of Cards is particularly repetitive.
Okay.
But I think Scandal, quite large bits of Scandal are quite repetitive.
Okay.
I would say, and those are the bits that annoy me. When they try and come up with new, different things, then I'm like, okay, yeah, this is interesting. But I don't know. I'm still into it, but you know, not as into it as I was in like season 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Good show.
Anything else?
Decent. No, what was the thing that we said we were going to watch?
Fuck.
Something like
Kidnap.
Yeah, with Halle Berry.
Okay.
Okay, well, I think that concludes episode 31. Next week, or next time, hopefully we'll have seen Thor Ragnarok, which I think it looks really good and has got good reviews so far. I want to see Jigsaw, and also The Walking Dead starts back. So we'll be discussing that. I'm not going to be here next week. I don't know if you guys can do it in my absence. But
I'm waiting to do it in your absence, mate.
That's the thing, right? So
Glenn out.
There was a brief threat that we wouldn't be able to have Obi on today, and we'd have Chris instead. And Obi, I'm pretty sure you've been ever present.
I've been on every episode, yeah.
So I was kind of thinking.
Bullshit, you've definitely missed one.
No, I've been on every
I'm
episode.
pretty sure he's missed.
No, I think
he has.
Missed one.
I've been on every episode.
So I was.
I'm the only main star. I'm the only main
Wait,
star.
he should get a
I'm the glue. That's what I'm saying.
salary.
I'm the glue of this podcast. I'm the glue of this podcast.
He's a deep line playmaker. Mate.
Literally.
But yeah. So next time, hopefully there'll be more of us, and we'd all seen.
Ever
Kidnap.
present, mate.
Ever present.
Is it kidnap or kidnapped?
Kidnap, I think.
Kidnap. Okay. Well, yeah, you can get involved and recommend things for us to watch. I actually started watching episode 2 of Queen of South, and it was all right.
Was it?
I didn't get to finish it, but yeah. So we do take your comments and recommendations on board.
We should start just watching, as well as watching our films. We should do just pilots of like highly rated TV shows that none of us have seen.
Yeah.
So like Ozark and all that crap.
I actually started watching Ozark.
Oh, was it good?
I haven't finished the first episode, so I'll.
I haven't finished the first episode.
Yeah.
I've been really started watching.
I've been
like,
recommended
literally.
it by a couple of people. Apparently, it's really decent.
Yeah, so do recommend things to us for watch. Ask us questions, leave us comments, feedback.
Send memes, whatever you want.
Yeah,
gifts.
anything. We love hearing from you. So we're on Twitter at YSC Podcast 17. We're on Facebook, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Instagram as Your Average Critics. So you can follow us and get in contact with us in a variety of ways.
Yeah.
And please do leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and SoundCloud, and just share our content so more of you can enjoy. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure we've got over 40 countries now.
Jeez.
People who've listened to us from over 40 countries.
Over 1,000
So
listeners.
shout out to you.
Fucking
Shout out to you all. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Bye.